Okay, good morning this afternoon, and welcome to the Monday Morning Show. And we got some music. And there you go. And welcome, lordy, welcome to the Monday Morning Show. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, and you are listening to the first episode of the Monday Morning Show Unscripted, meaning there's no script. I usually script these things so I don't babble, but today there will be lots of babbling, which, depending on who you are, would be or could be very entertaining or just a pain in the ass to listen to. So if you are of the latter group, I apologize. My books are a lot more focused. Check one out at Amazon or Audible. My name is Ken LaSalle. Right now, I'm recovering from a really shitty cold. There's really no other way to put it. So, the topic for today's episode is the Pacific Crest Trail 2019. And I thought it might be a good idea to update everybody on my plans and my progress with the Pacific Crest Trail this year. There hasn't been a whole lot. Last time I checked in with you, I was at the Chino Hills State Park on the weekend of March 16th and 17th. And that was a little burp from me. Yay! Maybe I should edit that out. So the last time I checked in, it was the middle of March, and I had a nice little weekend trip at Chino Hills State Park to do a little camping. Hold on a second. Yes, I'm having a drink. So, my plan was to do a couple hiking trips before I got on the PCT, just to help get me used to, the idea of this. If you heard that big crash, that was my dog slamming her body up against my door because she really wants to be in the studio. Excuse me. So my plan was to do a couple camping trips and then hit the PCT at the beginning of April. So that didn't happen. Unfortunately, the very next weekend, the 23rd of March, I had some pretty bad insomnia that night. I was up all night. And I was also up all night with a really bad cough. Right around midnight, my throat got really sore, and within a couple hours, I was hacking. And now, I figure at some point I should mention what is called by a variety of titles, either man flu, man sickness, the man plague. You see, whenever I get sick, I am not the kind of person who says, "Oh, I feel fine. I'm going to go and I'm going to work and I'll be good." No, I'm the kind of person who gets sick and I say, "Fuck it, I'm sick. So no bullshit around. I'm just going to lie down and I'm going to get better." Well, so that's often called man flu, man sickness, man zania, whatever women these days call it when a man gets sick. And so my wife, who I love desperately, she's a real bitch when I get sick. And she always gives me a hard time. Oh, give me a hard time about being sick. So this time around, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to bother her. I'm not going to give her a hard time and have her take care of me. I'll be fine. And so I spent the next week very sick and trying to take care of myself. And by the weekend of the 30th, Vicky was sick. She got whatever I got. And we were both sick for the better part of a week. Well, by the end of that week, we're getting now towards the end of March. Excuse me, or beginning of April. At this point, Vicky's like, "We should go to an urgent care center. You should have gone, had this looked at." And there's no winning. Like, if I say I'm really sick, then it's man flu, and why the hell are we bothering, right? So, this is just me being another guy complaining about how hard it is to be a guy. And I appreciate it if you don't own a penis. that things have not always been so gosh darn terrible for we middle-aged white males as it is now, which I know is utter bullshit. Like right now, it's like, why how could I even complain? So I'm not. So we went to even though that's all this is. So we went to the urgent care center, and we went in like a like a Monday morning or Tuesday morning, and we get there about 8, and we are told that we'll be seen in a few hours, so we can actually leave and take a break and go home. And it was almost that feeling you get when you go to a restaurant and they give you a pager or a buzzer or whatever the hell those things are, those things that vibrate. And they say, you can go within this radius and we'll be able to contact you. So you go to the mall and you do some shopping until you realize you're out of the radius and they called you hours ago. So that's kind of what this was. We went home and watched a little TV. And by around noon or so, turned around and went back to urgent care, where we waited for a few more hours. So, points to the U.S. healthcare system for the prompt service. But, hold on. I have to lubricate my throat because it's sore when I talk too much. And that's why I haven't done any podcasting in a while. So anyway, it's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I finally get brought into an examination room. And I'm seen by a medical assistant, nursing assistant, something, not a nurse. And I go through a great deal of detail explaining I've had my flu shot, so it's not the flu, it's a cough, and my throat hurts, and I can't talk because my throat hurts so bad. And once I explain that to her, of course, all she wants to do is talk. So we talk and talk and talk and talk until I'm blue in the face, telling her how much my throat hurts whenever I talk. And she goes out and she comes back with a guy named Dan. I don't know if it's a doctor. They just keep calling him Dan. And now you should know, I come from another time, far, far in the past when doctors were fucking doctors. They weren't called Dan. And he comes in and he proceeds to ask every single question the medical assistant, nursing assistant, whoever the hell she was, had asked. And of course, I give him the answers all over again. So immediately, the first thing he wants to do is test for flu. Even though I try to explain to him I have had my flu shot, I don't have a fever, I have none of the symptoms of the flu, but he wants to. And the way he wants to test for flu is he wants to stick a needle up my nose. Now, I understand that to get a good swabbing of the sinuses, you have to go pretty deep. But it worried me that he wasn't using some kind of collector. They just stuck a needle up my nose. And did it hurt? Oh, yes, it hurt. Because it felt like what you would imagine a needle sticking into your sinuses would feel like. So we finished that. And then he wanted to put me on an inhaler, even though my throat was super dry and all it was pumping into my throat was dry air. And I tried to tell him that this really hurts. And he said, oh, no, keep going. It's fine. It's good for you. Exactly what you need. And then I proceed to run out of oxygen because there's no oxygen in it feeding through the line. And I get dizzy and I start to pass out when they're like, oh, well, maybe this isn't the best thing for you. And I'm like, thanks so much. So they leave completely befuddled. And the nurse's assistant, medical assistant, what have you, comes back. And you know what she does? She asks all the same questions all over again, like a litany of questions. And again, I let her know how much it hurts to talk. And I ask her, could you please write these things down? Could you write down the answers that I'm giving you so I don't have to give them again? And she goes about telling me how it's a formality. It's just got to make sure everything's right, as if they haven't been writing it down. And I've been watching and they haven't been writing it down. I love our healthcare system. You know, when you can trust the professionals to not be and not do their job. So the nurse's assistant or whatever leaves. By this time, my wife, Vicky, has already been seen. and they've told her she has a sinus infection. And so they've already sent her over into my room, and I'm trying to tell her, they keep making me talk and it hurts, and I can barely talk at this point because I've been talking for like an hour now. And so what happens? Dan comes back and asks the questions again. Did you get your flu shot? Do you smoke? Where's it hurt? Do you have a fever? Which, they took my fever twice. They took my temperature twice, so you'd think they'd get that one. So finally, after he comes in and pesters me with more questions, finally I just lost it. And I'm like, we've been going over this over and over. Will you just finally fucking do something? And so he proceeds to prescribe me everything. Everything. He prescribes me Tamiflu, though I don't have the flu. He prescribes me antibiotics, which is a little weird because it was mixed with the Tamiflu. He prescribes me steroids to help loosen up my chest, and opioid cough syrup, because why not? When you've gone down the road with every other medicine, let's throw some opioids in there because it's the American way, right? So we get the medicine, we go home, and I spend a week taking this medicine. And now it's April 9th. It's about a week later. And I am feeling slightly better. But I have to tell you, we went through all the meds, and I actually now, having finished the medicine, I actually feel a little worse, and my throat is constricting up again, and I'm coughing again, and it kind of concerns me. Am I going to go back to that urgent care? Oh, no. No, I think I'm done with those fine people at the urgent care center. So, excuse me, I'm just doing a little cleaning while I talk. So, it's a week later, and I still want to get on the PCT. And I've been waiting, and I've been really good. Like, how when you're sick and you think, it's not that big a deal, so I won't, take care of myself. Not on the contrary, this time I have been incredibly good about taking care of myself because I want to get over this stupid cold and this stupid cough, which, by the way, have now lasted almost 3 weeks. So what's the plan? You may be wondering, and I apologize for that cough. I can see on the readout for Audacity what a spike that created, and who knows, maybe I'll edit it out, but odds are I won't. So, what's the plan now? You may be wondering, now that I've been sick for a few weeks, and April is just flying by, and it's just getting hotter out there, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing. Because as you may have noticed or seen in another video or heard in another podcast, I'm not hiking the whole PCT. I have no plans to at all. Mostly because my previous trips on the PCT have been so incredibly short that who am I kidding, right? So here's my plan. Here's what's going to happen, what I'm hoping happens next. And I do this all to give you some idea of what's happening with me. So my plan is I'm going to be hiking from Hikertown south. I was originally going to hike from Highway 58 south. But the weird thing is there is a water valve off of the LA Aqueduct 17 miles outside of Hikertown. And it's the only water in that area. 17 miles. And normally that's where people stop and they get some water from this valve that comes out of the aqueduct. And it only works when there's water in the aqueduct. Well, there's a ton of water in the aqueduct, but it's still not working for some reason. And I've been following this, following progress on this in the Facebook PCT group, on the PCT Reddit page, wherever I can get some kind of detail about what's happening with this. And so far, all I can see is there's just no water out there. Now, call me crazy, but I really don't like the idea of hiking more than 17 miles, more than 20 miles without water. I know that there's probably purists out there who are saying, hey, if you're going to hike on the PCT, you gotta be willing to do 20 plus mile water carries. And I agree, but I'm not hiking the PCT. I'm hiking on the PCT. This is not a PCT through hike. This is a hike on the PCT. And I just really don't want to do that long of a water carry. So, sorry. So the plan has been changed to start from Hikertown and hike south. And from what I can see, this is why I write things down, see, so I don't get lost in my words like this. From what I can see, it's about 4 or 5 days south from Hikertown to Casa de Luna, right out Green Valley. And then from Casa de Luna, it's about another 4 or 5 days down to Hiker Heaven in Agua Dulce. And then about a day from Hiker Heaven to the Acton KOA. So those are pretty, I'm not going to say easy, but they are doable. I can see myself doing that. Then from Acton KOA, that's when I would head up towards Wrightwood. And I'm a little concerned about that because of the endangered species closure and the directions, which, I mean, I'm hopeless as it is. So I see these directions and my head spins. So I'm not going to beat myself up if I get to KOA and go, screw this. Not to mention Baden Powell right now looks just horrible. So I don't know if I'm even going to want to go up there. So you probably picked up that my attitude towards the trail is not 100% dedication. I want to go down there and have some fun and check it out and do some hiking. And yeah, I want to go up over Wrightwood because I want to hit Cajon Pass. I want to see Big Bear. You know, I want to go further, but I am not in the business of killing myself. Now the plan right now is to start on April 21st on Easter Sunday. Mostly because I didn't want to start on 4/20. It just seems like the wrongest day possible to start a big hike. You know, you have a nice 4/20 and then you go and kill yourself on Easter, which, I don't know, seems like it might be somewhat appropriate. So that's the deal. That's the plan. I'm going to head out there in 2 weeks. I've already started trying to walk. And this is one of the real shitty things about this cold. I was in pretty good shape. I was ready to go, you know, like I had been hiking with the full pack and walking and readying myself to hit the PCT. And then I got this cold and I've lost a few pounds just from atrophy, just from sitting around coughing all the time. So I've got 2 weeks to get myself ready to get out on the trail. And my plan is not to kill myself. It's not to, as I've mentioned, it's not to have a terrible time out there. So that first 4 or 5 day stretch, that stretch from Hikertown to Casa de Luna, I'm breaking into sub 10 mile sections. So I think my first day is 9 miles and then second day is 8. I think there's a 6 in there. And these are not ambitious plans at all. But I figure I don't need ambitious plans. Whenever I've started out with ambitious ideas, I just, destroy myself. And I've learned that I am not a big fan of that. So there you go. The plan is to go in about 2 weeks. And I will be recording another podcast next week to talk about rider burnout because I have mentioned that a few times here, and there has been some progress, and I would like to talk about where I see my riding career coming in the next 5 years or so. So if you're interested in that aspect of my life, I hope you join me next week. And if you're not, I still hope you'll join me next week. If for no other reason, I can tell you how I'm feeling, and if I do relapse, if my cold does get worse again, I'm going to have some choice words. I guarantee you. Until then, I hope I haven't left anything out. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I did leave something out. something I want to talk about after this drink. So I am not by any means oh shoot, I forgot the phrase. Not a lightweight hiker, someone who ultralight. That's it. I'm not an ultralight backpacker. I have a backpack with a base weight of about 25 pounds. I think it's not teeny by any measure. But at the same time, I have winnowed things down until I'm down to what I feel is the minimum. And I don't want to take more stuff out. And I'm not going to buy new stuff because I'm a writer. I'm broke. I got no money. So something has changed with my backpack, though, and I wanted to talk to you about it. When I was at Chino Hills in my last camping trip, packing up, I had woken up late, so I was going crazy packing up, just throwing everything in. And I was packing my tent back into its container, its bag that it had. And my tent has the tent body, and it has the rain cover in that bag, and also my stakes and my frame. Now, the thing with the tent frame is that it is so tall, like it's so big, that you can't lay the tent sideways in the backpack. It has to be up and down. And when it's up and down, it takes up almost half the backpack. It's just way crazy the way it's oversized like that, or sized improperly. It's just not convenient. It's not well done. So I'm stuffing my tent into this bag, and the bag just rips wide open. It's just crazy. And I know that I can't put it in the bag, but I also know I've got to get going. So I just slipshod threw it in, just found a way to make it fit. And then in the time I've been sick, I've been thinking about that. What am I going to do about this? Where am I going to put my tent? It's not going to fit in that bag anymore, that's for sure. So here's what I did. I took a stuff sack. I went to REI, picked up a stuff sack, and I took the tent and the rain cover, and I stuffed them in the stuff sack. And it makes for a nice little canned ham size package. But the nice thing with that is I can turn that sideways and lay that sideways in the backpack. It opens up room in the backpack. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and already have, I'm taking the frame and I'm carrying that on the outside of the backpack, because I've seen a lot of people carry things on the outside of their backpacks, and mine right now is pretty pristine. Like when I carry my backpack, I don't have a whole lot of things hanging off of it. I'm a little bit proud of that. But putting the frame into the same little side pocket as my water bottle, it helps secure the frame in there. It helps pack up that outside a little bit, and it opens up the inside, so I have more room to carry things on the inside. To be honest, I don't know why I haven't been carrying my frame on the outside all this time already, because it makes so much sense. Now that I've done it, I realize it, and it's just like, wow, that works so much better. So, a little tip for you in case you're looking to repack your tent in a more size convenient way. Excuse me. I've talked to a couple of my friends who I have, some I have not even backpacked with. We've met online on Facebook, and I've told them about my idea, and some of them have gotten even more creative than me and do things a lot differently than I do, but they've still found ways to creatively pack their stuff. And I think that's something that you need to kind of look for when you're backpacking, just to get so familiar with your stuff that you can find new and inventive ways to make it work. You know, when I started backpacking alone, when I started solo backpacking, I had purchased a pair of ribs. Ribs are like like a fanny pack for your stomach. It goes around your stomach basically, and it's just this kind of other way to carry things. Because I had filled my backpack up, I could never fit more stuff in. And it wasn't because I didn't have the room, it was because I hadn't figured out yet a way to more efficiently pack my backpack. So I didn't need something like ribs. So I didn't need extra carrying space. And I've gotten a little bit better at it, and I'm kind of proud of myself for that. We'll see how much better I get actually backpacking when I'm on the trail. I can pretty much guarantee you I'm going to suck. But that's okay. That's how I get better, right? That's how When you find something that you love, but you're not good at it, you shouldn't stop. You should just get better. So that's me and my PCT plans and how they are moving forward. Hopefully I'll get on there and I won't get sick. The longer I wait, the warmer the weather gets. But that means for more snow melt, so it's not entirely a bad thing. I'm going to try and keep that in mind. And I'll talk to you in about a week and hopefully see you out on the trail. Until next time, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and let's make this world a better place.